when it gets to 1. And then if you want to talk a little bit about yourself, speak about yourself. Talk about okay, well, just a little bit about the history of your
not
team.
Gonna go wrong.
Anything you want to add. Anything you want to add. And then I know you're going to be playing a little bit with sharing your screen and everything. So Cheryl, you have control over my Zoom, right, as well, in case needed?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. And so Cheryl will be kind of dealing with if we run into any technical issues. I see some familiar faces. Great. I love to see the same people coming back on that have been joining us. And hi, Robert. So I'll just kind of start by introducing Todd. We're waiting for several other people to come on. So I'm sure they'll be joining us. And I know some people don't have their video on, which is, fine, totally up to you, as long as you're here and listening in. So Todd and I talked about, he actually offered to do one of, I told him we were going to do the shift trainings, and the idea we had to support all the agents in Hawaii and be able to offer some of the specific shift training from the shift books, especially with what we're facing right now on the short term, and then looking into the long-term market cycle. And it breaks up into 12 categories or tactics, as you know. And so he said, I'd be happy to teach some of that if you want me to. And I said, yeah, that would be awesome. So thank you so much for offering. And then we kind of looked at the different tactics, and he could certainly, as could some of you, teach various tactics that maybe is a specialty of yours, you're really good at, or you've been using and applying to your business at a high level. However, I knew when I saw, the lead gen, some of the stuff around lead gen would be a great one for Todd, because he has really, his entire team has kind of exemplified the embracing and the process and the consistency of lead generation, which, as we know, if we have no leads, we have no business. And I'll let him kind of speak to that a little bit, but just so you know the history. So Todd and I have been working together for going on 4 years now, 3 years for sure. And I had mentioned this last time, and I don't know if you heard this, Todd, and correct me if these stats are not 100% accurate, but from what I recall, when we started working together, you were kind of consistently running a $10 to $12 million business and sales volume a year independently as an independent agent. And then here and there, you kind of partnered with a couple of agents, came on board. And then in the first year, you maintained about that level of volume. However, you started looking at building a team and spent the time looking for talent. We helped you to find talent. You figured out what you wanted that vision to look like, what that organizational chart was going to look like. And then the next year, you went from, I think it was like 12 million, 10 to 12 million to 33 million in 1 year, which was a huge increase, more than doubled your business. And then last year went from 33 million to 63 million, and really helped your team dial in. You have a director of operations that is a rock star. Pretty much everyone on your team's a rock star. So I want to make sure that that's clear. Todd's an incredible leader and team lead and rainmaker. And then, we talked about last class how important talent is and finding that. And I think Todd really also is a good example of being able to kind of figure that out. And they've all figured it out as they've gone. So really the key though is the lead gen. And so I'm going to let you, Todd, go and cover the content and really just share any stories of your own experience, because I think as equal to the content, your own experience and what you do is going to be as valuable to the group. And really, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you to all of you for taking the time to be here with us today. So Todd, take it away. Todd Hudson, ladies and gentlemen. You can use a little clapping. There's like there's a reaction sheet, reactions button on the bottom of your Zoom, and you can like do this. You see my little yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Great introduction. I appreciate it. Pretty much I've had some amazing examples that I've been able to learn from, especially on Oahu. I think the first people to actually start offering help was the Lolly team. And then I had Rust and Charmaine. They really played a big role as well, helping me, and then as well as Dan. And then actually Eric Tanaguchi, if anyone knows him, amazing person, because he was a one-person shop who kind of grew like myself, where those other 3 teams are much bigger than our team. So it was just kind of picking their brains, lots and lots of questions. And I think I see, yeah, Adrian's on the call. So thank you very kindly for everything you guys have done. Been a great help. And that's the one thing I do say is, I'm not really a big Kool-Aid guy, so I'm not gonna tell you guys where you wanna work, where you wanna go, but you do wanna surround yourself wherever you're at with people that can be mentors to you and that could really help you, because that was the big thing. I know that when myself and Evian first came out and started doing our own teams, neither one of us really had any experience at it. And we've been really fortunate to have so many people give us the advice freely and really try to help with real no expectation. So I try to do that as well. I will say I am not a technology guy, so if I screw up anything, I apologize. I have been learning at a very fast pace. Prior to this outbreak, I had done 2 Zooms in my life. I am doing somewhere around 30 Zooms a week right now. So catching up real quick, learning a lot, and just experiencing new ways to grow. So anything I screw up, I apologize. I just hope I can give you guys this information that'll really help you guys and give it to a way that'll make sense. My teaching style is a tad different than a lot of the regular teachers. I'm very interactive, so I highly suggest questions. I'm going to be able to learn from you guys just as well, and that's really important to me. That's one big reason. I was definitely thinking when I signed up to do this class, we would do it in person. And I believe I teach a little bit better in person, a little bit more fun at that, so I'll try to keep that going here. And I'll try to stay on topic as best I can, and if somebody want to remind me right around 2 o'clock, we'll take a break. So hold on, let me share a screen with you guys real quick. Okay, everyone can see that? So upshifting your lead generation. So this is shift 4. Tactic 4, which is one of the biggest ones in the book. So I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. I've definitely taken a bunch of stuff out that I don't think is pertinent to what we're going through right now. So I'll keep that in mind, but if anybody wants to ask questions as we're going, please feel free to do it. So upshifting your lead generation, finding the motivated. One thing that a lot of people, when they ask me, what is your job? And something that has resonated with me for the last few years is I'm not a realtor. I don't just sell real estate. I want to change lives, but also the idea is I am a lead generator. And that's how I've been looking at this for a long time. I thought that was one of the best things that could be done is when I thought that process made a big difference in the way I looked at real estate, because without leads, we don't have anything. So that's a big thing to think about and to remember. And I apologize, technical difficulties. There we go. Okay. So main ideas, perspective. We're going to go through perspective, outwit, outplay, and outlast. Finding the motivated, sources of leads, and the bottom line. First, in perspective, the market has shifted in many areas. The amount of leads has definitely diminished, and lead generation is your business. In a market where there are many buyers and sellers transacting business, you know what to do and to say, and leads are very plentiful and they come to you without much effort. And you can be very successful just simply receiving leads. You can kind of even cherry pick and decide who you want to work with. So, not so much in a shifted market. When the market shifted, there's going to be a lot fewer transactions, way less buyers, more than likely more sellers, and they're both going to respond very differently. And leads they're not going to pour in like they used to. If you're not actively generating leads, you are seeing a real slowdown in your business. Hold on, let's see a bunch of chat coming through. Make sure it's nothing. Oh, sorry guys. Trying to figure all this out as we go. Veteran agents, they're going to still lead generate the same way through all kinds of markets, buyers, sellers, a neutral investor type market. And they're not only going to survive the tough times, but they're going to thrive and grow their business. So what we're going to see is, a lot of agents, all of you guys being here shows that you have a willingness to want to be able to expand your business. So even though we may do less volume, we can pick up a greater share of the percentage of deals that are done on Maui by being very proactive in the way we do things. And that's gonna be really important. Lead generation truly is your business, because without leads, you have no sales, you have no closings, you have no income. There are no activities you can do each day that'll help build your business. So if you're not lead generating, what are you doing? Are you just sitting at home? If you have to always be trying to master your craft. Okay. So perspective, doing a mind shift. There's negative farming and reality farming. Your mission is to do a mind shift. Adapt a mind shift that prepares you for successful and sustained lead generation. It's essential for your business and it's essential for your life. It's essential just for your success. You have to master lead generation now. If you're not already a master, you're going to have to get on the path to mastery. This is going to require consistent, competitive, and creative with your with your lead generation efforts. You want to commit to your daily habit of lead generation. This is one of the most important things. Is are you truly committed to lead gen? Do you have an established daily habit of lead generation? Do you need to ramp it up, explore new options, specialize? Confront the media head on. We are in a market where everybody is getting bombarded with negative media back and forth. Let's face it, doom and gloom sells. Nobody wants to really hear a lot about the positive. They want to focus on the negative. So our job as agents is to understand what's being said and be able to combat it. Because anything that comes in, you have to know which way you're going to go with it. So your mindset, that's going to be really important. Let's get out here. Are you thinking that lead generation? You have to be thinking that it works. So we know it's hard work. We know it's uncomfortable, and it exposes to what you're really doing and not doing. And it sets you up for rejection. It means that you have to ask for business, and good agents shouldn't have to ask for business. That's not true. We all know that. Agents with this kind of thinking who buy into the negative media and the opinions of others may soon see their business affected in that negative way as well. So your thoughts and your direct actions in order for you to move in a positive, productive direction, it's important to start out with a realistic mindset about the work that needs to be done and the opportunity that comes from your effort. Get clear about the value that you bring as a real estate professional. And you want to arm yourself with truths about your business and make a plan and take action. So, there we go. And to master this, you're going to have to outwit, outplay, and outlast everyone else in the game of real estate. And incorporate these 3 steps into your daily routine. You need to study. You need to be the market expert. You got to study the industry. More importantly, you need to know your local market. If you're doing this for 30 minutes to an hour each day, you'll get great at it quick. Practice makes perfect. You want to practice the right thing to say. Practicing scripts and dialogues for 30 minutes to 1 hour each day. My team, we actually, every single morning at 9 o'clock, we get on and we do Zoom and we practice. What we do is the conversations we hear from potential buyers or sellers the day before, we actually write down those objections, we bring it up to each other, and then we role play it. How would you answer? And I always answer last because I want to see where their mindset is. And I will tell you, my team has gotten absolutely amazing in the last 3 weeks with objective handling. A little more light, there we go. Time on the task. You have to find and attract buyers and sellers. Lead generate for 3 hours each day. If you're, I mean, we're all stuck at home right now. So if you treat your business as a real business and you lead generate for 3 hours a day, you're just gonna knock it out of the park. You will, that was something that as a team, this downtime has changed our mindset on a lot of things. We weren't lead generating on an everyday basis because we were lead generating, but we weren't doing it at specific times. And we found that we were doing it at all different times. And now we've all committed to doing it during these times. And these habits will come into place. We'll make them habits. Keep doing it, it'll become a habit. And that's what we're trying to do. So why would you even want to be in a position where someone else knows more about your industry and your local market than you? What can you do to prevent this from happening? You just study each and every day. The agent who knows their markets backwards and forwards, look at their numbers and trends, and pays attention to what's going on in the industry and related industry as well, is going to win this game. Some people have always thought it's really about being a great person and being social with your clients. At the end of the day, the clients are smart. They'll enjoy that they like you, of course, but at the end of the day, they want you for your knowledge. So when you provide the most knowledge to them, you will win this battle. And that's the key. So when you know everything about your market, you're just going to gain more confidence, and you'll be able to communicate clearly with your clientele and show the level of knowledge and expertise that obviously they're going to be looking for.
Hey, Todd.
Yes.
So what are you doing for your knowledge? Like MLS, maybe even Maui News on certain articles about development? I mean, how far out are you going with that?
It's a great question. Pretty much, I got a couple inside sources at the county. So when new people are applying for developments, they let me know. I have a couple really close friends that are contractors, and they let me know what's going on with the hotels. Like, I knew the hotels were closing down to May 11th, pretty much almost a few days before anyone else did, because one of my best friends is a contractor and works with them, and told him, he says, and they're actually thinking they're closing down to May 30th at this point now. So making those friendships, really important. That's one route. I watch the stock market every single morning. And I try to watch CNBC to get a little bit of knowledge, so I understand what's going on, and I could talk to clients, because the stock market portion comes up more than anything I have noticed. People are telling me they're losing money, or they're making money, they're doing this, they're doing that. So I have to know how I'm going to combat that. So I just need to know where the market is on a daily basis. And that takes 3 minutes. It's just putting on the TV and looking at your clicker. We, as a group, we kind of go through the media and see what other people are talking about, and we try to dissect it. And I'm on a lot of Facebook groups right now. Usually I'm not a super big social media person. I don't post a lot, except for, food, dog, and wine. That's about the only things I really post on my Facebook, or when I'm on vacation. But I have noticed that I'm spending probably a good 45 minutes to an hour in the morning looking through a lot of the different groups I'm in, and listening to what other people are saying. So I find that's really important. And then talking to agents. I talk to my PB and Lisa quite a bit and hear what's going on. And these are some of the things we'll talk about a little bit later. Does that kind of answer your question, Keone?
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Okay. Study what? That leads it into some of the things that you want to study. You want to know your market numbers. Is anybody even watching the market right now? I studied the market pretty much every single day. I'm not really studying it now because we don't have enough data. So I've looked at the March numbers, and I feel March numbers are nowhere compared to what we're going to be looking at moving into the future. I did look from April 1st to April 8th. I don't know if anyone's getting that from, I believe it's Fidelity is posting out the numbers. And we're seeing a massive decline, as sure as everyone's seeing. But we're still seeing a lot of escrows opening up comparatively for what's going on right now in the market. So staying in touch and staying on top of that. every client that I talk to who's thinking about selling or thinking about buying, number one question, anybody want to guess what that is?
Are prices going down?
Where's the market going?
Where's the market going? What's going on in your marketplace? Number one question I get. Every one of my clients that own vacation rental, not everyone, I'm sorry. A good chunk of my clients have all reached out to me. If I haven't already reached out to them, number one question they're asking. So you
What's
just
your answer?
Yeah. So here's my answer. There's some great opportunities right now. We do see a lot of agents who are not staying in tune with the market, and they're listing properties at the values of 45 days ago. That's not happening. I have personally negotiated 12% off of ask price on a couple of deals. And as anyone knows right now, the last year and a half, we were at about 2.5% off of ask price. So major chance for a buyer to get in and negotiate well. We had 18 escrows when this crap started. We lost 3 of them, 3, maybe 4 of them at this point, but we've closed the majority of them. Most of those other ones, we ended up renegotiating price from the seller's and the buyer's standpoint. We just had no choice. And at the end of the day, a seller should feel like they're winning the lotto right now if they can get an offer on their property. They are that lucky person. It's important that you are being very truthful to your seller or any potential seller. You do not want to come overpriced. You will chase this market down and you will never sell that house unless you're amazing and somehow can keep that client on the line for 3 to 4 years. Because if this market does start to tumble, you know, we're probably looking at 18 months to 2 years before it flattens out and starts coming back up again. And that's just a regular recession, guys, that happens every 10 years. Granted, we were in a depression last time in 08, but we're just in a regular recession. So you gotta tell, you know, a good analogy was you can't catch rain if your bucket isn't under the rain. Make sense? If you are not at the lowest price in a complex or in a subdivision, why would anybody make an offer? I mean, unless it was just the most amazing house ever, but it's going to be very hard to sell in this market if you're not educating your clients. And that's going to bring us to, let's see if we have this on here, on page 18, studying your own market. Again, I don't feel we have enough data to be super smart in this market and to really give out numbers. But what I can tell you is this: the first week of April, we are down 70%. If we, you know, times that times 4, was 18 deals that went pending in the first 18 days. I'm sorry, in the first 7 days, compared to last year, how many went pending? 70% down. Not great. Crazy part is we actually have more solds in the first 7 days of April than we average out till last year. There's a lot of stuff still in escrow and a lot of stuff is still closing, but we're going to see that pending number go down. You know, 30 days ago, only 30 days ago, we were at 600 pending. Anyone know what it is at today through the island? You want to shout it out? It's about 350. 373. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. 373. So quite a bit less than we were last year. Than we were 30 days ago. And this is, you know, this is usually one of our strongest months of the year, March and April. And that kind of ends it out till it's over. So knowing your market is going to be super important so you can talk intelligently to them. Now let's go to, if you guys have your book, let's go to page 19. You know, what price range is the most active in your market? Anyone know right now? Better yet, what do you think is more active? Single family homes or condos? Single family homes by far are more active in our market than condos. And I think vacation rental market is probably going to take even a little bit bigger of a hit. And yes, correct, under 700,000. So pretty much the 550 to 800 mark is boom. It's the number one strongest market. It's actually always been our strongest market, but that's going to continue, especially single family residential homes, because this is a time that people had been sitting on the sideline. They couldn't get in. There was multiple offers. It's a great chance to negotiate right now because they're not getting nearly as many offers. Let's see, there we go. Study resource book. I'm a big proponent of reading. Love to read, always have since grammar school. It's a big thing for me. But as I got older, I kind of went to a different sort of book, a little bit more of the self-help. I know I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I can sure cockroach somebody. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just kind of learn from what other people have done. So as a group, my team, as a team, we read a book almost all the time. We started Shift about a month ago. We will finish exactly at the end of April, almost the last day of April. And we planned it out that way. So it just kind of always keeps your mind thinking. We actually do have a new book, but I see a couple of my team members are on, so I'm not going to tell them that yet. Tell me what you guys like. You guys reading any really good books right now that'll help? Because I tell you right now, your mind shift, the mind shift set right now is the most important thing. So a couple here.
Our team right now is reading How to Win Friends and Influence People in a Digital Age. So we read this book every year, and then actually this year we moved to in a digital age. So there's some more up-to-date stories and things that are a little bit more relevant with social media and texting. So that book is about, connection, communication, relationships, and it's just a very basic foundation. So it's a staple on the Lally team to go through that, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That is one of the greatest books ever. I will tell you this now. My children, for their 16th birthday or for Christmas, get that book. And they both have read it. And I got them through really awkward stage of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds funny.
What was the name of the book?
It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. They have an updated one that includes more up-to-date things, so it's in a digital age. So it includes text messaging, emails, social media, and those kind of things. So we've shifted over to that version just this year. But every year before that, we were just reading the original. So they're both great. They both have valuable content.
Great content for sure. My kids actually, to this day, when they get gifts from me, there's always a book. It's just one of those things, and it has made it. My youngest daughter is a maniac for reading books. The worst thing that happened during this time frame is that she can't go to the library and get books right now. So I know she's sneaking onto my Amazon account and ordering books instead of using her own, which is fine. But yeah, it is really important. Some of the things that we have read as a team that were huge. The number one book that my team refers back to all the time, Grit by Angela Duckworth. It is one of the most amazing self-looking. I mean, you go into yourself, and my guess is you're going to cry if you really take this book serious, because it really brings you in, and it's going to tell you, do you have that grit to make it through? And it'll show you how to get it, because not everyone is born with it. But it is something you can teach yourself habits too.
What was that book, Todd? I'm sorry.
Grit, Grit, by Angela Duckworth. And that is a very interactive book. There are, I think, 25, if I remember. I forget exactly how many different projects you do on that book. And you just look really inside your soul on that, in my opinion. The one thing is, you can't even join my team unless you've read the one thing and given me a book report. Might sound funny, but I think that you can't even actually get into you can't talk to me a second time. If you want to talk to me about joining my team, I'll talk to pretty much anyone. You will not get into a second interview unless you've read that book. And I think it changes it gives you a way to go, where you want to go thing. You start breaking things down smaller, until you know your one thing and what you want to go to. Two of my favorite books that we have not done as a team yet are The Magic of Thinking Big. Mind-blowing, especially if you don't come from a household that really built you up as a child. It is an absolute amazing book. Highly suggest it. And here's an old school book, Who Moved My Cheese? And it is a great book to read right now. Sorry?
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah, it's a great book to read right now. It talks about becoming a chameleon. You need to shift and change. It's all about pivoting in this market. And that's one of the more important things you have to teach yourself. Any other great books anybody else wants to suggest before we move on?
Todd, I would
Yes.
recommend Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. That's the growth mindset versus fixed mindset book.
Tell me that again.
It's Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. You may have heard growth mindset versus fixed mindset. That's the terms, and she talks about them in the book.
Awesome.
It's a very powerful read.
She's got a great TED Talk on that too.
Yes.
Awesome. Have not read that. Like I said, I'm learning from you guys. So if anyone else has something, please shout it out and we'll move on if not.
Hey Todd, you know, one of the things I do, I pay my kids to read. Now you're thinking like, why are you gonna pay your kids to read? If you're sending your kids to college, you are paying them to read. You're
darn
paying
right.
$40,000 a year for them to read, and they're just reading textbooks to go get a degree and student loans. But I literally paid my kids to How to Win Friends and Influence People. $100 a book, well worth it.
Awesome.
And then I sit down with them for an hour and have a conversation about it. So it's not like, yeah, Dad, here's my, where's my $100? No, it's start with the kids.
It's a great suggestion. Like I say, guys, the importance of reading is so important. I was very fortunate that I had an amazing wife who did that with our kids from almost from day one, from they were born. We were both big readers in school. We were kind of nerds. Well, I was a nerd. She wasn't. But reading books it's important. And I was very fortunate that both of my kids took up that love. And we actually have conversations on books that we've all read. So it's kind of fun. It's a good thing. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm sorry. Somebody else want to say something? Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to talk about the media negative spin just really quick, because this is something that we have not had enough inundated yet to totally and truly react to yet. But if somebody says prices are down in 15 states, how do we turn that? Prices are stable or increasing in 35 states.
Oh.
It's truth, right?
Yep.
It's how you look at things that's going to make a big difference. Another one, owners face massive losses as values plunge more than 4% in just 10 months. Okay, first of all, we're going to be lucky if we only get 4%. But flip side to that is property values have soared 300% in the last 9 years. Think about that. Guys, got to remember one thing: whatever comes up must come down, and anything that goes down is coming back up in our market. So this is a mindset, again, where you need to look at it as a glass, right? And is it half empty or is it half full? Mm-hmm. If your thought process is it's half empty, you may want to have a little change of the mind on that and think of it as a half full glass. Priorities for studying in the media. What do you think you could study today to be able to know what the media is talking about? Anyone?
I never watch the news. I think I better start watching a little bit.
Well, here would be my suggestion: don't watch the news because it's totally bummer city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, watching a death toll clock. How many people died today? That is just. I'm telling you right now, either consciously or subconsciously, it's affecting the way that you guys are prospecting, and it will affect your results. Here's my recommendation. World Health Organization, CDC, or State of Hawaii Department of Health. And then 2 podcasts that I listen to every morning. One is from the Dr. Gupta. He's the health correspondent for CNN. It's like 7, 8, 12 minutes every morning. He has Fact or Fiction Coronavirus. Nice. And there's one called, and then there's another one from NPR. If you just look, those 2 are the ones I listen to. They're super short. They have scientists. Yeah, what is it? epidemiologists from the Yale School of Health. So these are people talking about factual things. Be cognizant of the fact that you guys as licensees, people are looking to you to be the reasonably intelligent person with two brain cells to rub together. Forget the media. The media has an agenda, and I saw a video of the news showing the hospitals and the testing centers with lines out the door. There was on the street reporters. One of them was right here in Kapolei showing there's no lines at these testing centers. The hospitals are not overrun. So be careful. And they were doing side-by-side comparisons of what was being shown on national news and people with their phones in those hospitals. Now, I'm not saying that this is a hoax. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying be the voice of reason, the person that's calm and intelligently talking about this. That's what they're looking for you realtors to talk about on what's going on. Good stuff, Todd.
Thanks. And I would definitely not go factor efficient on coronavirus. None of us have that science degree, and some people are very entrenched one way or the other. Stay away from it. We're neutral, guys. We're salespeople.
Yeah.
Don't keep 2 cents to yourself. That's what I'll tell everybody.
Todd, you know, another good one is it just happens to be during 60 Minutes, and it's Money Watch, and it's usually about a minute long, right? And there's usually like 3 stories about the economy in there, and that's very helpful for you to see consumer confidence, right? People are still buying cars. People are going to, well, when they were going to the movies, but they were going to the movies, right? Movies are $50 a shot now, right? If you're going with a couple. That's all consumer confidence. That's how you know what the market is doing. Another one is your MLS. You know what the market is doing 2 months before it is even happening, before the media even sees it, right? You know what's happening. So definitely, yeah, use those facts, right?
Yes.
The market facts, right?
Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. And as usual, I am way behind, so I apologize. So we're going to go to number 2, practice. The second step to developing a mastery of lead generation is to know exactly what to say at all times and in situations. That takes a lot of practice. Practice, practice, practice. In fact, it takes memorization at that time. And this is why it's critical that you should be devoting 30 minutes to an hour each day to mastering what to say. You know, the more you practice, you'll become more confident. You'll be excited about the words that come out of your mouth, and you're going to want to have conversations and presentations. I mean, you're literally going to be like, okay, I practiced. Now I'm ready to jump in on this. When I first started in the industry, 2007-ish, I started pretty much crap in December. Markets hitting the straight toilet. Every morning, my goal for 2008 was to set 300 open houses. And every single morning I woke up and I practiced in the mirror for 30 minutes. And so in case I got super lucky and that one person who was buying that day came into my open house, I was able to work on that. Took a lot of practice, a lot of times, and I found partners to do it with, as well as I studied a ton. I studied the inventory. So practice, 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 because the more confidence you're going to get, the better you will get when it comes to talking to somebody and going through those objections. And anytime you hear an objection and you don't know how to answer, the real simple answer is this. And that's a great question. You know, let me do a little bit more research. I want to make sure I get you the right answer, and I'll get back to you. You can't know everything. It's impossible. So, but write that down. Write those down and talk with your script partner or talk to somebody else who does scripting and say, hey, what would you have said if this came on, if this was said? You can't get anything better than using objections with your other friends that you're script practicing with. It just changes your mindset, and it'll really get you going at a different pace. Gathering scripts. Good thing is there's tons of scripts. FSBOs, expires listings. Nobody's allowed to do door knocking, so we're not going to talk about that right now. But you're the professional, and you learn this by gathering those scripts. At the end of this, the package, there are some scripts. There are scripts all over the internet for every possible thing you can come up with.
Yeah, Todd, I posted a Tom Ferry script in there for the COVID situation. It's a really great script. It's generic. I just cut and pasted it into the chat. And then I also posted a real short opener coming from my buddy Eric Hatch. They do over 500,000 outbound phone calls every year, and they're using this. So it's in the chat. One from Tom Ferry and one from Hatch Realty, and our team's using it right now, and it's having good results.
Okay, that is awesome. Okay, oh, there it is. Perfect. Oh, Chad, I like that. Morningbrew.com, another thing you can look at. Good suggestions.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That one gives you really a good, that's a great suggestion from Chad. Subscribe to it, hits your inbox every morning, and it just breaks it down, and it's just all factual stuff. None of the screening out all the super negative stuff.
Awesome, love that. Partnering up. Guys, I can't tell you how important it is to practice your scripts with a partner. There are, let's see, how many people on this call? There's 83 participants in this call. I'm gonna wild guess that somebody will gladly partner up with you to practice. And if not, I'm sure you can call one of the teams. I know we have 4 teams just on Maui at Keller Williams, and we have a ton over in Oahu. You might be able to find a script partner to go with them. So really, really important on that, because we all have smartphones right now. Record those scripts and see, grade yourself. Did I do good? How could I have done better?
Yeah,
and that's actually how my team gets better every day as we talk about it.
Todd, I'll put my money where my mouth is, or my time where my mouth is. The first person to text me their name and phone number, I'll do script practice with you for 5 minutes every day for the next 30 days, Monday through Friday.
Boom.
Boom.
Okay. Somebody do it. You put yourself on the chat to him privately. Okay, so let's talk about this. Is anyone going to do this? Who's going to practice?
Who was that?
Sorry?
Who said that? Who was the person?
Attilio.
So when will you practice? Time of the day and length of time. You have to come to the commitment, and here's what I will suggest to you. This is how I learned how to do a lot of things. Post-it notes. Put the post-it note. I will practice 3 hours a day. I will practice 3 hours a day. Put it on your mirror where you wake up in the morning to brush your teeth. Put it on your refrigerator. I mean, we're kind of stuck in a house right now. So you can put it all over the house. And if you see it enough, you will do it. So just come to the conclusion you're going to make the time to practice. And then find out, who you're going to practice with. I guarantee there's other like agents on here who want to do that. What will be your reward? How about a deal? So if you get a deal right now, that's a massive reward. It's kind of hard to reward yourself on a lot of other things right now just because we're stuck in the house. But that would be something else. We have contests on our team every single month for something. Boys against the girls sometimes it's individual contests, who makes the most calls, because we have a record keeping through our calling system. We use Mojo on our team. And my director of ops can log it all in, and we can see who's making calls every day. Let's see. Time on the task for 3 hours each day on lead gen. I think we've talked about that. No skipping. If you're a race, you must replace. Allow no interruptions. That is one of the hardest things. So I have learned to take my phone, turn it upside down, vibrate, turn it and put it on its face so it cannot see what's coming through. Because I am the worst when it comes to a message coming in. So I've been retraining myself not to do that. You can't have excuses. This is the key, guys. There's no excuses. If you do, I don't like calling strangers. Okay. Start by calling people you've met. Start by calling past clients. There's so many more things you could do to help get you practicing. Okay, ready? Here's number one thing you got that everyone could do. I had this talk with an agent who was feeling, he's a good friend, and who was feeling super depressed. Now, he had a horrible 2019 on personal level. And I said to him, what are you doing right now for work? He goes, well, what do you mean? There is no work. This is exactly what he said. He says, there's no work. My phone doesn't ring. I can't sit open house. I am stuck in the house. I'm not going to swear to that. Stuck in the house. I can't do anything. I said, why don't you go back, call every single client you have ever closed a deal with. Just give them a call, say hi. Start out the conversation, how you doing, what's going on right now. Don't talk about real estate. Just talk to them as a human. And I guarantee most of them are going to open up and ask you a question about real estate at some point during that conversation. Twofold why this is going to make sense. First and foremost, it puts you in front of your client and it gets you talking and gets you practicing. Number two, there are going to be a lot of clients who are going to want to sell because of this, or some that are going to see this as an awesome opportunity and want to buy. You just put yourself in front of them again. That's key, because if you don't put yourself in front of them, don't worry, my team will. Not a threat, it's the truth. So if you wanna keep your clients, better call them, get a hold of them. So like I said, this is a great way to just start getting that practice in, because once you get through that, then go through people you've met at an open house or people that have called you. Database, just hit your database, but your Met database, people you've talked with over time, maybe people you showed property to once before. Just calling like a regular human being to see how's it going, how's things happening, how are you dealing with what's going on. That will help. So that'll get you over, I don't like cold calling strangers. Once you get that going, you'll get a lot faster and you'll get better at it. One of my number one problems, emails takes up most of my morning, and email is important. No, it's not. Absolutely not. When I wake up at 5 every morning, I do not open my emails till a minimum of 8 o'clock. That's my new rule, and I've been staying with that for probably the last 4 months or so. Sometimes I cheat, but the reality is I almost never open that email because it becomes time consuming super quick. I can't really reach people in the morning. So does anyone want to try believing that right now? Because that's not. Here's what I do. And this is what I've taught my team to do. I call. Directly after the call, I text. Directly after the text, I email. So that's during my lead gen time. But I don't read other emails. I literally only open the email to start a new email, to let them know if called, just check it in, or if it's a potential client, to let them know that, hey, you hit my website, I just want to make sure I get back to you. So I'm 3 touching them in a matter of 5 minutes. How important do you think that is, guys? I mean,
Very important.
so important. But staying in, making sure you call them the next day, even more important. So these are ways you'll really combat these issues you have. Like, really, and I'm happy to talk more with you guys about this another time, the things that we do. So we'll go to setting up lead generation calls. So if you guys have page 27 in your book, setting goals and being prepared.
Yes.
Hey Todd, what's your daily minimums for your team members for these things right here? I'm curious.
Yep. So we have 2 different sets of callers. One set of callers has a minimum 100 and the other one is 200.
So what, one is agents and what are ISAs?
Yes. It's broken down to I have 2 people that we have changed we're adding to their titles and they're calling now as well.
Okay.
So,
for us if you're an agent on our team, it's 100 dials or 10 contacts or 1 appointment. And
nice.
the reason we say or, the appointment, don't really have too much control over that. People answering their phones don't have much control over that, but you certainly do have absolute control over the number of dials. So it's 110 1. And if you're an ISA, it's 250 dials, 20 contacts, or 2 appointments. And
Those numbers were pre-coronavirus, though.
That's pre-coronavirus. Again, my friend that does over 500,000 outbound phone calls, they're having to double and triple their outbound calls just to remain at 50% of pre-corona.
Wow.
So when Todd's talking about double down, triple down, you got to do it. You got to do it. And if you're not, and what did you say, Todd? If you're not doing it, what are you doing?
Exactly. You can sit and be depressed and watch a lot of TV and a lot of Netflix, but I think you'll probably run out of things to watch eventually. Like I said, you know, I never was a big drinker, but I'm enjoying drinking nowadays. Right after my 3 o'clock call with my team, it was like, we end up happy houring it during our call. Very interesting. I was not a big drinker. So, yeah, things are changing in life, and we have to get ahead of it. I love that you guys have gone higher in numbers. I didn't even think about that, but you know, we're in a transition of retraining. We're training habits. So I'm not trying to make crazy numbers yet. And I do say for everyone who has not been calling, do not make a 400 call requirement to yourself. You will not live up to it. Start small. Maybe for the first week, it's 50 calls a day. Work it up. Our calls are so much different now. We were a turn and burn call prior to coronavirus. What that means is, hey, you interested? Okay, screw off. Yeah, it was just boom, on, off. I mean, it was that's how it was because nobody cared about us. They didn't want to have a conversation. It was, okay, I'll sell, but you got to do it at 4%, and I want $150,000 above ask. That literally, I mean, that's kind of how some of our calls were going. We have made more purposeful calls. We have completely rewritten our scripts, 100% all the way down from the actual introduction call. And the call is much more explanatory of what's happening in case you don't know. We're different than a lot of places in the world. 60% of our owners do not live on this island, guys. So we are starting the calls, and you know what? They want to know what's happening on Maui. And being very, having those conversations and being, John, are you on the call? John Broth? Let's see.
John Broth is on the call.
John.
Yes.
Talk to us. Have you seen a difference in the way that we make calls?
Absolutely. The objective is completely different. The goal is really conversation, building longer term relationships, coming from contribution.
Yeah, that's the biggest key, guys, is we are trying to put our name in place. Because if you sold them the property 4 years ago and you have never called them, and now we're calling them just to say, hey, we're just touching base, seeing how things are going, we're going to be top of mind. So don't let me do that. Go get that. Go get that for yourselves. So
Speak for yourself, Todd.
Yep.
Todd, you got a question here. Who are we calling? Because it's easy. I'm telling you right now, here's the drunk monkey that's firing off for all of you. Oh, Todd and Attilio, they got these big teams with these huge databases. I don't have that kind of database. Yes, you do. Todd, what would be your suggestion for somebody that doesn't have a huge database? How are they going to pull these kind of numbers on a daily basis? And I got some suggestions.
Quite easy. You can talk to any escrow company. You guys may have found that the escrow companies weren't so willing to help you get numbers before.
Now they are.
They're real helpful right now, guys. So I'm sorry, I'm looking at all these different questions. Lisa, to answer your question, we are cold calling as well as doing METs and anyone in our database. So that's that part. We are calling complexes. We are calling subdivisions. We are calling through our database. We are calling people that unsubscribed. We're going way, way back and hitting everybody up again. And we're putting people that we put into a dead list where it used to be we didn't touch them again for a year. Now we're going 6 months and we're putting them back to 10 days of pain again. Surprisingly, people are quite interested in getting more responses than ever before. And messages if no answer.
I want to throw out some stuff. Yeah, some free stuff for sale by owners. They need your help right now. They are like, what is their marketing strategy? It was probably terrible beforehand. Now it's like nothing.
Yeah.
They want to talk to you now. The for sale by owners. You're gonna have to spend some money, but get one of those systems that allow you to get expireds. And if you have the system that allows you to talk to expireds, don't even talk to recent expireds. Go back 6 months, 12 months. They probably still want to sell. Another one is circle dialing around just sold, just listed. They don't have to be any KW listing. You just say, hey, I'm calling you about, you know, Joey Bag of Donuts. He just lifted his home down the street, and I'm just calling to see if you might be interested in selling your home or something like that.
Nope, absolutely. Those are great options. And if anybody wants to talk afterwards, we'll do that. Okay, things you want to have when you're getting ready to call. If you are, just like I was saying, if you're calling circle prospecting for a just sold, make sure you know everything about that property, maybe even print one up so you have it in front of you so you can talk about that property. You want to have a message for the day. And if you're calling your database, you want to know the last time you talked to them and something or two that you share in common. Hopefully you have a CRM that allows you to put that stuff in there. Now, number one thing at the end of the conversation or sometime during that conversation, you need to ask for business or for a referral. A lot of ways you can do that. But at the end of the day, that's what you're calling for. There's no substitute for having an electronic database open with your computer screen in front of you is make call and send messages. We don't have the edge anymore, but we have command. I mean, when you're talking to somebody, you should be putting it into your CRM at that exact time. And if you're with KW, command is free, guys. So you don't have to pay for your own, system anymore. And if you're not with KW, you should be. No, I'm just joking. Well, maybe. But if you're not with any, more than likely, you probably, whatever company you're at has some kind of free CRM. And if you don't, and you don't want to pay for it, Word, you open a Word document so you can copy and paste that Word document. And then you're going to have to come up with some way that you have to make sure you keep these people's information to the side so you can talk to them intelligently. Finding the motivated, because that's what we want to do right now. I'm going to close out this text box. Finding the motivated. You have to have a method and a message. There's two approaches to generating leads. Prospecting. You're generating leads through your actions and words in person or on the phone and talking directly to the people. Obviously, we're probably not going to be talking to anyone direct, especially since we're going to be 6 feet apart at minimum. So this is going to be getting on the phone or text messaging. Some people absolutely love text messaging. I like to call people, but some people respond better text, so I try to hit both sides. Marketing, receiving leads from ads, websites, signs, mailing campaigns, and other advertising sources. So there's a lot of inexpensive ways you can do marketing right now. And if you are not presently doing marketing, let me suggest you do not start any kind of mail campaign right now, unless you have the money to really keep it going for a minimum of a year. You will not see it build and get stuff out of it for a good year. So make sure you're using your money smart right now. I mean, you can go get Zillow leads for half the price they were a year ago. That's one option if you're set. Your lead generation goal each and every day is to find the motivated buyer or seller, securing them as a customer before any other agents advise them to a mutually successful financial conclusion. So in a shifting market, you just don't want to spend any time with people that are either unmotivated or people that are saying, oh, the market's going to keep dropping, I'll buy at the end. It's funny because I had so many people for the last 2 years that kept saying, oh, the market's about to drop, the market's about to drop, the market's about to drop. And so for 2 years, they lost 20% in appreciation. This market, I doubt, drops 20%. They can't win. And of course, that's just my opinion on it, but they lost out their chance. And the joke is anybody who sits open houses in Kihei, they know when the Canadians come in, the favorite line, oh, I should have bought in 09. Stop. If they didn't buy in 09 or 010 when they had the dollar was par and it was the exact same, it was the lowest price they've seen in 20 years prior, they're not real buyers. So don't waste that time with them. You can put them on a drip system, but you want to be focusing on people that are realistic and talking to a seller who does not have a pie in the sky price. That's going to be really important for you. Forgot that. And the message does matter. It has to be strong and to the point. You don't want to use overly aggressive language, but you also don't want to be beating around the bush. And that's something that we've been working on as a team. So every conversation that you're talking to somebody, you're trying to build that relationship, of course, but you also want to connect to them on a personal level. Find out what they're doing, find out if they have any good shows they're watching. That's probably the number one question my friends continuously keep asking. I'm doing Zoom calls with my friends, probably different sets of friends every couple of days. And everybody says, so what you guys watching on Netflix? It's a conversation starter. It's kind of like the old conversation, how's the weather? So, it's just a good conversation starter, and it does help build that business, that relationship. And you gotta remember, if you're not selling someone, they're selling you. So it's one of two ways, guys. And that's how you have to look at it. So ask for business, ask for a referral, and build the relationship, trying to build a relationship. That's what should be your three main goals for every single conversation. So 2:00, why don't we take a 10-minute break? Sound good for everyone?
Yes.
Okay, and if anyone has any questions, feel free, you can ask now.
Todd, what's the good news in your life?
Say that again?
What's the good news in your life?
Good news in my life. I got 2 puppies.
Oh,
So,
nice. What kind of puppies?
yeah, we got one about 3 months ago from the HARF program. He was a Big Island rescue dog. And amazing dog. There's a chocolate lab pointer.
Oh,
Just
beautiful.
cutest little dog ever. And then as we were bringing him in for his 4th immunization about 3 weeks ago, a month ago. Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago. We walk up and like, holy crap, that dog looks just like Indy. And I'm looking at him and getting closer and closer. I'm like, he looks exactly like Indy. And the lady's like, yeah, that's his brother. I was like, what? From the same litter? Like, yeah, they surrendered him. And people who had adopted him surrendered him back. They couldn't have him in their house. So I went from not wanting any dogs to having 2 dogs really quick. So I'll take the blame on the second dog because my dog just needed he's a dog's kind of dog. Like he absolutely loves to be with dogs. He just, ever since since the day we brought him home, we brought him to some of our close friends' house. Had 3 dogs and those dogs surrounded him and he was just loved every bit of it. So they wrestle around a ton. So unfortunately on Friday, he had to get ear surgery because his last owner just didn't take care of him well enough. So he was getting blood clots. So now try keeping 2 5-month-old puppies who have insane amount of energy away from roughhousing all day.
Good luck with that.
Pain in the butt. I mean, I'm taking Indiana out pretty much on hour-long walks, and it's just not burning up his energy. They just want to fight. Not fight, just wrestle. But Jones, the other dog, is just a big, massive beast. He's so much thicker. He takes more like a chocolate lab, so he will pound Indy to the ground. But so Indy starts biting at his ears, and then the crying starts. So that's my life right now, is messing with 2 dogs and trying to keep them quiet during my Zoom meetings and keep them away from my wife while she's working. How about you? Tell us what you're doing.
The walk in the morning and a walk in the, you know what I started doing? Family Zoom, just like you did.
Yeah.
Every other Sunday. So I got all my nieces and nephews, and my dad's an at-risk person. So my dad, my sisters, I don't know about you guys, but are we talking to our family like more and more now? So creating some great connections with the Zoom. And so it's like you said, it's our mindset, right? What are we going to focus on? What do we want expanding in our life right now? And what do we want to focus on to maintain that positive mindset? But I agree. I know everybody on this call, everybody at some point, either in the past, either in your present or in the future, you're going to have a low point. and you got to have strategies in place to catch you. And so that family Zoom is a good one. Just get up out of the house and go walking. So I used to work out a lot. Now I walk 4 miles in the morning and 4 miles in the evening, and sometimes I just stack them together and walk for 8. But got to get up and move. Got to have routines. I have alarms all through the day that are ringing me. Get on the huddle. Go work out. Go eat. Breathe.
Somehow I'm gaining no weight. I don't understand this. I feel like I'm eating more.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing. I think it might be the stress. I'm not sure.
Sure.
So I have an app. If anybody wants to get together with their friends, and you guys can kind of still play games. It's called House Party.
House party.
House Party. It is super, super fun. So you can
That sounds like fun.
What's that?
That sounds like fun. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
we play the game. We could play Heads Up. They have a drawing game, which is like, I'm not sure it's whatever drawing games are called.
I'd love to play Scrabble.
You know, I don't play Scrabble online because everyone freaking cheats and it pisses me off.
Yeah, they're all Googling words.
Yeah, I would like to play in person.
I want to lose without you coming up with 20-letter words that make no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got Heads Up, Trivia, Chips and Guac, which I haven't played, in Quick Draw. So if you want to play some things with your family or friends, I definitely suggest that to them. It's a lot of fun. It's like we're just keeping really active with our friends. Just doing a lot of Zoom calls, and I got a lot of friends all over the world, so kind of fun.
Yeah, I like to play that with my children. You know, the 3 adults, and 2 are in Canada and 1's here. So it'd be great to be able to set that up with them.
Daniel, we've been doing a fitness challenge. We live in a high rise. I strapped my son to my back, and we've done the 45 stories in our build. Oh my God, 45 stories. So you're going up 45 flights of stairs. Is that in one quick shot up and down?
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you guys, everybody put on the chat, what are you doing to work out?
Yeah.
Let's create some positive peer pressure. What are you doing to work out and get your body moving on a daily basis? Did you know there's a new disease? It's called sitting disease. It's actually true. There's scientific studies. Your organs, just high blood pressure, hypertension, all of that stuff. So we're sitting even more because we're now at home.
They say it's the new smoking.
It is the new smoking, sitting. And by the way, if you guys need any tips for exercise routines, I have a great website. It's completely free. Go to getoffyourbuttanddoSomething.com. One more time, getoffyourbuttanddoSomething.com.
That's funny. Guys, why don't we finish up? Everyone grab a drink. Let's get finishing up. I will tell you, this is more of the part that I was not as comfortable with as I was at the beginning part. So please ask questions, make it easier for me. Okay, finding the motivated, making offer an immediate response. With all your lead generation activities, your goal is always to generate responses, preferably immediate responses. And you do this by outcoming or outframing your messages so it demands some kind of response back from them. You can talk to them, finding buyers and sellers, what motivates them to respond. Well, it could be, are you waiting to be in that market to buy now? Talking about financing. That's something I think I skipped over. One of the things you guys will make sure that that's not in here. Yeah, I skipped over that. Really getting an idea of what's happening. A question that's coming up a lot for us is the forbearance question, and we didn't really know much about that. So we started doing some research, and it seems like Nobody really knows a lot about that. So we're not trying to talk too intelligently about that. We're just telling them what we've heard and what we know so far. But talking to your lenders, okay, here's something from Maui that everyone should be very aware of. If you do vacation rentals, there are some of the lenders now who are cutting the rental income from 2019 in half. So what that means, if your buyer is using that income to qualify for a loan, you could be in trouble. It's really important you start those conversations with your lender and just see what's going on in the lending world. And actually, there's another part that I'll talk a little bit more about that. Not giving information away for free. You want to entice them to register to your website. If you have something on Facebook that you're posting listings for, you should have a forced registration. You want to be able to get contact information from them. I know agents think of this in a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of data, both sides. But I'll tell you now, right now is the time that if you're spending money on social media or any other kind of marketing, you should have a forced registration. You will find, or I should say we have found, our lead count it's like 500% higher right now. It's unbelievable how many leads we have on our team coming in. It's just, before we had a hard time with registration, and we've been playing with data for months and trying to figure out which way is better, and we have found that it's way better response as of late. And it's probably because people are bored. Everybody is decompressing. They have a minute to breathe. We've never had a minute to breathe. Everyone's talking about how it's the worst thing ever. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, this month has felt like it's been 4 or 5 months, and this is almost the longest amount of time I've been on island for the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, I'm catching my breath. I mean, we're really fixing a lot of issues I had in my team and how we did things. So sorry, we went off on a tangent. But yeah, doing that would probably be a really good idea. Ways to get immediate actions from your agent is, would you like to hire me to handle the sale of your home? It's kind of an immediate response question. Give me an indirect might be, call for access to my best buy list. Maybe they'll call you, maybe they'll email you, but you want to do things that are going to get people to respond to you. And that's the name of this game. There are, page 35 in our book, coming up with some different messages. Agents must be clear and confident about the message that they're offering to our potential clients. Let's determine 3 to 5 powerful statements that are going to address either a buyer or seller, and with the opportunity, talking about your expertise. So go ahead and take about 3 minutes, write down a couple statements, and these are things you can practice during hopefully your scripting time with someone. Gabriella, to answer your question, what is a registration? If you have a website where people can go and view properties, your own personal website, you should have a forced registration on it, meaning they'll usually have 1 or 2 clicks to look through it, but the second they want to start looking at properties, they have to register, meaning they have to give an email address in their name. Some of them require phone numbers. We require phone numbers along with their email address. I hope that helps. You're welcome. Okay, 3 to 5 statements. Anybody want to give me a powerful statement that they can use right now to talk to a buyer or seller? Just give me one. I'm not sure. I think you have to unmute yourself now, guys, or you can put it in the chat box.
Yeah, no more competition on the buy side because everybody's, waiting.
How about a powerful statement to a buyer of, let's go write an offer. Let's see how low they're willing to come down. Steve, wouldn't you feel safer in a house than a condo? I like that. There are deals to be made right now. I will tell you right now, I truly believe this. You're going to have two types of sellers. One that are still insanely wanting the pie in the sky because they just don't care if they sell or not. You're also going to have the seller who has depended on rental income for many of years to help float that mortgage that no longer is getting that rent. Maui is primarily an investor market, and I apologize for everyone on other markets. I know it's a little off base, but you are going to have owners who are really going to feel the choke in the next 90 days. And most of them do not have Fannie or Freddie Mac loans. Thus, the forbearance is not a guarantee for them. From what we're hearing, most of those lenders who are doing those loans are not allowing that forbearance. I love that. I see that all the time, Tulio. Could you see yourself home sheltering in this home? I saw that meme quite a bit. I'm experienced in dealing with buyers and sellers with a success in a previous down market. Another good one. If you've been in the market since 2007 or before, you have gone through that. Those are good statements to be using.
Todd, I like to use the one, when they always say, well, I'm going to kind of wait for the market to go down. I go, okay, well, what do you think? How far down do you think the market's going to go? I say, well, I don't know, maybe 10%. I say, okay, well, let's make that offer today. Instead of guessing, we can do that right now.
Yep. I agree. You have no clue what what their pain threshold is. And don't forget, there's a lot of owners that have had their property for 15, 20 years. They're into it really cheap. You just don't know. Take a chance. I think there was a lot of us in 2008, 2009 that were writing some of the most ridiculous offers of all time, and they were going into escrow. We'd see things 40% off of list price going to escrow. And don't forget, rates are dirt cheap right now. I tell you, the rates are dirt cheap right now. You can afford so much more. Let's put it in perspective. If rates were to go up 1%, you should talk to your lender, find out what that does to a payment, how much it increases it. They could probably afford almost $100,000 more on that 1%. I think that was the number. I'll tell you what it was. But having the low rates, being able to really negotiate, especially if somebody's looking for an owner occupied, it might be a great opportunity. Or if you have an investor, I think investors are going to be the first people to come in and really save our market, because they'll just come in and start doing lowball offers again, like they did last time. Okay, move forward. Great answers. I love them. Lead generation, prospecting versus marketing, direct response. They're going to demand a direct answer and quickly identify those people who are ready to do business now. An indirect response, our messages are perceived by buyers or sellers as safe and non-threatening because they do not ask for immediate business. Indirect response is a great lead generation tool to develop a level of comfort and rapport with a potential client over time. So you have to find which way you're going to go with each client, because sometimes you're going to have to pivot mid-conversation with them. They're not going to be interested in doing anything right now, but maybe they want to have a market report that they can just have coming to their email every month. Something that just keeps them more informed and will keep you top of mind to them, more importantly. Direct response. Are you ready to hire me to handle the sale of your home? It's a great question. Be direct. What do you have to lose at that point? If they're telling you that they can't afford the payments, why not ask? Are you interested in some different areas? Let's sit down and have on Zoom. let's have a strategic meeting. That's what we're actually preaching to everybody we're talking to right now. Let's have a strategic meeting right now. See if we can help ease that pain. Some examples. Are you thinking of moving? Do you want me to help get you out of the home of your dreams? Are you considering buying or selling in the near future? Are you consider selling your home? Do you want me to handle the sale of your home? I think you're going to have to use examples of both the direct and indirect response. It's going to be knowing your people and talking with them. Finding out which ones are those motivated people. If they're not responding to a direct response, they're not motivated. So then you have to, you shift over to get them with a direct and indirect response. Can I create a monthly, I have a monthly newsletter I send out with great information about what's going on in the area, and I send it to you. So granted, hey, they might not go for you right now, but at least you're putting them in that database, and that's important. Let me just run through that. Marketing offers for direct response. These are, I've always felt if you're going to do a postcard, please have a call of action upon it. I find so many postcards that I see from agents that are just a picture of a whale jumping or a picture of a house that just says just sold. And I read the back and there's no call of action. Why would you have that? It's great to continuously put your name out there, but if you really, you have to have that call of action. If you want to sell your home now, call me. You're looking for the home of your dreams, call me. Now that's more of an internet one, if you're going to have on that. Need to sell your home? Call Todd today. I have buyers who are interested in living in your neighborhood. Call me if you're ready to sell now. That is an actual great letter to send out to an owner. If you have, during the long time, we had people that were looking for a property and we couldn't find them what they were looking for, but they pinpointed the actual area that they wanted. You know, they'd be like, say, hey, Waikapu Gardens, Kamali'i, wherever it was, and we'd send a letter, say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. We have a client who is cash, or we have a client who's got their financing approved, and we tell them what we're looking through, and we put in that letter. This is not, I forget how we market it. This is not just a marketing type letter. If you have an agent that you already work with, please have them call us. Simple as that. We've had, and unfortunately we've had agents, like some really good agents, I was really surprised, who sent like nasty emails. I was like, what are you, an idiot? You couldn't read the letter? It literally says for you to contact me, we have somebody who's interested. And some of them, I'm baffled with some of the info we get. But then we get other emails, texts, calls from those agents who say, hey, you know, my client got this letter, really appreciate that you asked them to call us. We have this. And we did probably 4 deals last year that way. So of course, we'd love to double end the deal. Who wouldn't? But at the end of the day, we have a client who's looking for a property, and we made a very direct response letter that went out to them. And it was a very small letter. It did have our team stats, so in case they were thinking of selling, they would call us, and we got some sellers out of it as well. But we ended up to get people into places that they were looking for. If you're going the indirect response for your marketing, you definitely want to have that 1-2 punch. The indirect, you begin with, I just sold a home down the street. Do you know anyone else who may be interested in selling their home? A lot of times they're going to say, no, don't know my neighbors, or no, not. Okay, boom. Before I leave, can I ask you another question? Are you considering selling your home? The other way I've heard this worded, so tell me, when do you think you're going to sell your home? That actually gets a lot more responses than I could have ever imagined. I tested it out. I was like, that's dumb. And it works. People, well, you know, I'm not sure, probably in a couple of years. Say, okay, well, tell me why. You know, what's your mindset? Why are you going to sell it in a couple of years? Well, you know, I think we're going to move back to Vegas. It's too expensive to live here. We're thinking of going here, thinking of going there. Okay. You know, it's good to know this. You know, if I found you a buyer who'd be willing to pay the price that you're looking for, would you sell it to them? It changes the mindset of the client. And it's just another way to look at it. Okay. Did I pass 38 again? I did. Pass through there. Source of leads. So this is on page 41. This is actually in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So prospecting and marketing. I think I've expressed to you, I think if you haven't done marketing already, you want to do it as inexpensive as possible right now. But if you're already doing marketing, keep going at it. In our area, we have somebody on the grocery carts. I see their darn picture every single time. And I don't know if they get business out of it, but I'll tell you what, definitely they get quite a bit of name recognition. The Lolly team is on the radio nonstop on Oahu. I would say anybody in the, that, from Oahu has probably heard their commercials at one point or another. So it's a lot about that name recognition, because name recognition helps to bring them in when they hear the name at another way, at an open house, things like that. But in my opinion right now, some of the best things we can do right now is going to be on the phone. And there's, let's see what they have here. For sale by owner, expireds, just sold, just listed, past clients, allied resources, geographic farm area, builders, banks, third-party companies, sphere of influence. Face-to-face, when we're in regular times, you got door-to-door canvassing, open house, client parties, network events, allied resources, social functioning, community events, seminars, booths, and events. On our team, we do 4 things that we work really hard at. Allied resources. If we do business with you, we definitely expect business back in some form or another. Past clients, open houses, and we have a pretty kick butt client party that we put on once a year. Most of our clients really look forward to that party, and the people we invite are very simple. Anybody we've closed on a deal, no matter where they live. Anybody who has referred a deal to us, any allied resource that sends business to us, anybody who is currently in escrow, really that's about it. We do sometimes bring on people that are seriously searching for properties, but not very much, usually 1 or 2 of them. And that has been a major part of success for us. Our client parties, we've only been doing it a couple of years, but it has gotten us business every year out of it. And we kind of make it known that if you send referrals to us, you get a chance to win cool prizes at the client parties. We get out gifts as well. Great way to put a bunch of people all together. We have bands at play, food, things like that. Open houses is my favorite. Obviously, that's what I built my career on. How about you guys? What are you guys doing for your source of leads right now? Anybody want to shout something out that they're doing presently?
I'm doing something that's kind of manini, but I actually just got a bunch of referral options from the mail lady at my son's college because I needed to forward his mail. And of course I threw in that I'm a realtor, and she's blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, she's like, well, I want to sell our home, a couple of homes and move to Arizona. So I just sent out 2 referrals, one for listing and one for buying this morning.
That's awesome. Is that Joyce?
That's me. You know, when you're just sitting here in your pajamas, you got to work it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's anybody who knows me knows I love cologne. This is probably the longest period in life that I have not wore cologne. Sometimes, actually, I put some on today before just to get ready for the class mindset. But yeah, it's interesting working out of your pajamas, but it gives you a lot of options. Joe, Instagram, Facebook. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing, if you don't mind? Please unmute yourself if you don't mind.
Oh, hey everybody, it's Joe. Yeah, so I post at least 3 times a day on the story, and I usually have a call to action, whether it's the polls, either the yes or no, or them responding. And we've gotten a lot of leads from it. a couple of nurtures actually, and it's something that is the most economically efficient for our model right now, and also putting our name out there on the island. So and it's also something that I like to do and I enjoy. I like being in front of the camera, and we stay very organic with our engagement. So I DM our followers, I comment on their photos, I keep them engaged and I follow up. And then if they feel comfortable with it, we put them in our CRM and we let them know, hey, you're going to hear from us, and they like that too. So the social media thing is something that works for us.
Social media is awesome. It is a great, easy, cheap, free way to do business. And you know, on our island, the Millers and the Harrises, they just crush it on social media. I know there's a lot more on our island, so I'm not trying to exclude anyone. I apologize. Just what I see, and they do. You know, they get business out of it. It's awesome. I wish I could be more social media. I'm just thinking the Facebook, Instagram I suck at, but yeah, so just doing something that is inexpensive, awesome way to do it, Joe. I really appreciate that. I think everyone should be doing something right there. So groups on Facebook to help during this. Smart move, Catherine. I like that. She started a couple of groups on Facebook to help during the social distancing time, and indirectly people are contacting me and asking about real estate. It's a great time. A lot of us have been secret agents in the last couple of years. It's a great time to get back into it and let everyone know what we do and calm them through this crazy times.
Hey, Todd, you might want to let everybody know, just because I know we talked about it on another call. I think that was this morning. If anybody wants to download the chat, if you click on the 3 little dots on the right, you can save the chat, because there's some scripts and ideas and stuff in here. So if anybody wants to save it.
Can someone save it at the end for me and email it?
They can, yeah, probably email it to you.
Okay.
I was curious if you have to keep resaving it, or if you save it once at the beginning, does it save the whole thing? Does anyone know?
Good question. I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, you think about ways for your sources of leads, where you want to get business. And this is a great time to figure it out, dwell on it, talk to other people, and start to master it. And whatever way you're going to go, just go at it. I do not suggest trying to do 10 things. Not possible. You can't do it. Take 2 things. Get good at it. Add another. Then get good at that. Add another. You know, that's the way you work with leads. And if you're going to start doing marketing, and you ever want to talk about that, that used to be one of my main sources of leads for many, many years. I am happy to share some time with you. We could do a Zoom call if you want. Feel free to contact me afterwards. Let's go past this. Yes. Okay, setting up your environment for when you're prospecting. Now, this is really important because, like I said, I have 2 puppies, and if I don't go around, they will nonstop try to tackle me to get my attention, to love on them. So it's important you go somewhere where there's no distractions, preferably with a closed door, especially if we're all in houses right now with everyone. If you're going to practice, you're going to do script practicing by yourself, you may want to have a mirror so you can kind of look at yourself as you're talking. Scripting, can't tell you how important scripting is. It's just being able to know how you're going to say something and when you're gonna, somebody throws in the monkey wrench to your statement and you're like, you're practice those things. You'll get so much better at them. Your big why, you know, how you're going to keep focusing by knowing what you're trying to achieve. You know, what's your big why? Affirmations are really big. I think everyone should have some kind of affirmation they do in the morning, whether it's what they want, what they're looking to achieve, something good about themselves, anything. I am the master of cold calling. I am the master of sellers. Whatever it is, say it. Your mind will eventually believe, not eventually, your mind will go into believing that if you continuously keep telling yourself that. It's an unbelievable thing what you can teach your mind to do. Every time I've ever set goals, I put them on Post-it notes and I put them everywhere. My car, my wallet, my computer, my mirror, and it just is always constantly going in my mind. My original mentor, Coldwell Banker, Bob Sella, he was a master at doing that. And it took me about a year to buy into his belief system on it. So true. So true. And I got myself into doing things I never thought I would do. No interruption, no cell phone voicemails or emails. What I have done is I'll turn down all the notifications. Look at that, lots of calls and texts. I turn off all the notifications, or I put it on vibrate and put it down. Except, of course, if you're calling, or if you're calling through a phone system. Like I say, if you're calling through a phone system, I highly suggest, if you're doing a lot of calls, get a system. There's Mojo, there's a ton of different programs out there. It'll really help you with your note taking, as well as seeing how many calls you're making. And you can even have a three-line dialer. So you're literally just talking nonstop to people if you like that route. So you can hang up a person and you're talking to the next person if you're trying to maximize your time. Source of leads. Should be moved to highly motivated buyers and sellers. Some of the best things in the world for sellers: expired listings and FSBOs. So I'm not going to tell you how I get my FSBO listings, but we've gotten quite a few in the last couple of years. That's something for you to do a little bit of research on. We know there's not many FSBOs on Maui. There's ways to do it. Expireds, I think everyone who's been around the business for the last 10 years knows that I've done a lot of expireds over the years. It's another great way of getting business. And there's enough business for everyone. So, being the one who works the hardest at it usually gets them. So, it's just looking at those, and they're not, you can do it very inexpensively. You're going to have some kind of, you're going to have to spend some money to get through to some of them, but it's still a great option, especially if you've never focused on sellers. You've been a buyer's agent, which the majority of us all start as buyer's agents. By far, number one way to get business in our industry on Maui, we are super, super lucky: open houses. We are one of the only places in the entire country and the world that does open houses 7 days a week. It's free. You can go out of your mind if you sit too much, but it's free. So I love open houses. It's a way to practice. All that script practicing you do, and I never did script practicing for phones for many years. It was all about script practicing for buyers that came into my open houses. And I would write objections. I had about 45 note cards, and I'd shuffle them up in the morning, go in the mirror and not look, pick one up, do my beginning script, pull out the objection, and I would have to answer it. Not joking. I know it's crazy, but I really want to become an expert at open houses. And again, I started in one of the worst markets in our history. So I knew I had to work harder than everyone else. And I didn't have a lot of money to spend. So number one way when we get out of this crisis is open houses. And now I have really built a strong business with my investors. I have taught my investors how to flip properties. And I've been hand in hand with them. I went to a lot of classes, learned a lot of things, and I taught my investors how to do it. So I have 4 that do a lot. So obviously a lot of people that they keep coming in, they bought and they sold in the last couple of years. It's been great. I love doing it. I do it some for myself as well. On expired listings in a shifting market, reasons are going to vary, but a lot of the times they're expiring because of overpricing, poor conditions, and sellers who didn't understand the market. So savvy agent is going to go after those listings and explain the real truth about the market. So if you go after them, you really want to have scripts that address the fears and needs of the sellers, but diving in deep to ask them why they need to sell or why they want to sell is really important. And then, kind of going after that pain point. Nobody sells for, what do they call it? No one really sells for the point of being happy or, for the, I apologize, I forget the expression. But most of the time they're going to sell out of pain. There's a reason they're selling. Or maybe they want to buy into a different marketplace. Find out what it is and then go after them that way. Growing your investor business. Again, I kind of told you how I did mine, but you want to develop an investor base and keep them posted on the opportunities in the market. And we are going to have a lot of opportunities in this market coming up in the next 18 months or so, is my opinion. So knowing your market, knowing what's available on a daily basis, and you can preview the properties right now a lot of different ways. You know, most agents have gone in and done some kind of video that they can share with you if you see it in the comments. A lot of agents, especially good professional agents, they have videos already uploaded, or they have a 360, a Matterport, something on the property. Knowing that. And if anybody wants to talk to me about how I teach to know your inventory, it's a class I put on for Keller Williams agents for the last couple of years. I'm happy to put that on, and we can do a Zoom call if there's enough interest. And I'll teach you how I learned my inventory and how I've taught my team to learn inventory. And the one who has the most knowledge wins this game, just an FYI. Like I said, they don't care about who you are. They don't care about you're a great person, what charities you give to, what churches you go to. They just want to use somebody who's really, really knowledgeable. I mean, we know some agents that just have, you know, wet noodle personalities, and they're so successful because they really have a good grasp of the inventory and the knowledge. So anybody who wants to get into that class, I can do a separate class for them. But investors are huge. I mean, they will continuously buy, but more importantly, they continuously sell. So you have two ways of getting business from that at all times. They're always doing something. And remember, a listing will always turn into more business for you as well for buyers. And I see a bunch of messages. Let me just double check the messages. Okay, good. Don't forget your Mets. Some of the most important people, because people who have been sitting on the fence waiting for that buyer's opportunity, your job's convince them, hey, you're the genius. You're the one who said, hey, I wanted to wait for this opportunity. And we said, well, it might not happen for a while. Boom, it's happening. It's going to keep happening. So your Mets are important to your business, and you may have been neglecting them because of that. You're really just trying to hit the people that are super interested right now. So you want to get back into regular communication with them. And keep building your database of Mets. That's going to be really important. You don't need a reason to call. Happy New Year. Hello. How's things going? Craziness we're living through. What's a good Netflix show to watch? I'm bored. Whatever it is, they're probably going to be pretty glad that you're calling them right now. And I truly believe Mets are one of your best sources of referrals. A lot of my friends have already bought properties or in properties, and obviously they're going to let me know if they want to do something again. But I have found a lot of the people that I know and I stay in contact with, they're great referral sources. You know, they're always telling people, and I've trained them. I think we talked about this on the last shift. Don't give them cards. Ask your friends to say, hey, get your numbers from. Most of our friends, they have numbers for. So it's a great option for them. Treat your past clients special. I cannot tell you how important that is. Staying in touch with your past clientele is the easiest thing in the world. And even if you maybe got a little dicey at the end of the deal, and it does happen to all of us, even the most professional of agents, but you don't stay in touch with them, somebody's going to. So my suggestion, really easy. Put them on just a drip, or put them on just a market update once a month. What's coming on in their complex or what's coming on in their subdivision. And you can be a canned response. But I would highly suggest a personal phone call to every client at least once a year. I think twice a year is the minimum you should really look at, but at least once a year to keep them up with it. And those are the people that if you're going to do anything like a fundraiser, some kind of gift giving opportunity, it's a great chance to send an email to them just to let them know you're doing it. I'm in a bunch of charities. Don't really talk about many of them. The one that I think I do talk the most about is Backpack Buddies. one of my favorite things I've ever done. I love every portion of it. I love that it gives food to kids throughout the whole island. I was there when that was dying out, and Rhonda Hay, she literally turned that whole thing around. And I was so lucky that she needed my help at that point. It's just one of my favorite charities that I try to be as social with as possible. So we have a bocce ball tournament every year. That's probably the only thing I talk to people about that I do is the bocce ball tournament. So just a fun way to get in front of your clients. So when you're at your client events, that's another way to be in front of those clients. So just making them feel special. Lots of other ways, of course, but those are just a couple different suggestions. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Forgot to go through some of these. Getting creative, getting out in your community. I know Hawaii Life has been always amazing on blogging. Jeremy Stice used to be a blogging maniac and got a lot of business out of it. So I know it works. I know there's a lot of people that have done that, and it's a really cheap way. You can have a really inexpensive site and do some blogging and get clientele that way. Video emails, BombBomb, awesome program. I don't know if anyone's used it yet, but our team is slowly really getting into it. So it's like you're basically having a conversation with them. You send them, just as how you do your BombBomb, just like this. You're talking into it, and it can send it straight into an email to your clients. And you can even do it, like say you're trying to touch your whole database on a really good deal. Like say you have an investor database. You're like, hey guys, just want to let you know, just got done previewing this property. It's unbelievable, great option. I really think it's going to be in escrow quick. Might be a good thing for you to look at if you're interested in the ROI on it. Give me a call. That's it, that fast. Social media, I think we already talked about. Cell phone texting. It's another great way to just stay in front of your clients. Other options, builders. That's one thing I've never touched really into, so I'm not that great with that, but I'm sure there are some other people probably even on here you can talk with. Multinational groups, some things you can look at. We have a rising Spanish. People coming into Maui might be a great option, especially if you speak Spanish. Really trying to get into that. Generations, man, this was one that really got me thinking, because I think of age frame wise, you look at the young boomers, the Generation X and the Gen Y. A lot of them are more Facebook. Then you get your millennials who are definitely Instagram. But those millennials, guess what? They're coming into that age time where they are starting to look at property and buy. We had quite a bit of millennials buying property this year from us. So getting on that Instagram platform is a great option for it. I know TikTok is probably the new thing yet. I haven't seen anybody trying to specialize on TikTok as of yet. So that might be a good option for you, looking at that and seeing if there is a way that you can put yourself different than everyone else. Oh, here's a good one for millennials. College grads, where they're graduating from the millennial groups, some of them are going to be eager to purchase their first home. They might be going into a company where they're getting a signing bonus or anything. How about advertising in a college newspaper or even at college job fairs about first-time home buyers? It's a great little option. So hopefully what I'm trying to do is to get you to think how you can bring in new leads. What is some of those sources that you can do? How about give you guys 3 minutes real quick, think about it. And I want to get a couple examples of what you think of new sources of leads that you can explore. First to answer has got a good chance of making $10,000. Thank you, Daniel Root. I appreciate that. Anybody have some new sources of ways they want to try going after business? Facebook groups. Michelle, that is literally the smartest thing. Like, there are so many groups that are so specific into things that you can really do that and really start becoming that expert in them. Call all pro-rate attorneys. Nice one, Daniel. I like that. How about divorce attorneys? Anyone ever try calling a divorce attorney? Those people almost always have to. Thank you, Evie. Want to do Facebook ad, they'll provide a relocation guide. Very interesting. I like that, Gabriella. How about anything else? All right, guys, way too many smart people on this not to come up with. Diverse attorney. It is true. Definitely can turn into a whole lot more deals. Nothing else? Okay.
I had an idea about Red Day. After our meeting this morning, I was thinking it would be really fabulous if we could open up the mask purchase donations to our databases as well, not just ourselves purchasing them for the healthcare workers. That would be a great way to reach out to the community, to our client database to say, hey, this is a way that you can give back and help out as well. Would you be interested?
Nice. I love it. Head it up. Call banks to do trust sales. Yes, send to your database. Offer a free puppy with a new home purchase. I love that. How do you get a copy of your slides? Chris, send Cheryl an email afterwards and we'll get you one. Okay. So I'm gonna just kind of wrap up. You know, the bottom line is you just want to do something now. You want to master lead generation and you will master your career, business, and life. As we say at Keller Williams, be bold, proactive, and be smart. Get out in the market. Discover what buyers and sellers really need from you. What do you think buyers and sellers really need? Knowledge. They just want you for knowledge. You got to know what's going on in your marketplace, in the market, inventory. Those are the things that will propel you to success by doing the studying. Now, once you've studied that, having scripts in place. I mean, they really go hand in hand, guys. I know it might not make a lot of sense if you haven't done this in the past, but I promise you a big reason for some of my success has been knowing my market, studying the outside of it, and putting them together. Really, really important. That'll get you going. There's more than enough business for you. The leads are going to be fewer and the competition is definitely going to be tougher in a shifted market. But as anybody who was in this market in 2008 knows, we went down to under 900 agents, I believe. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, in our marketplace. We were at darn close to 1,800 before the virus hit. Anybody want to make me a little bet what we'll be at within the next 12, 13, 14, 15 months? I'm going to guess 1,200 or less. And we may get down to 1,000, Michelle, you could be right. 888, magic number. It's very possible. I would imagine the amount of fees that we pay as realtors is going to stifle somebody from continuously doing it. Somebody who's only been doing 1 deal or 2 deals a year, they're probably also going to leave this market. Wow. They went from 850 to 450. That's crazy. I really do think we're going to see a massive change in the marketplace. So it's going to be, while there'll be less buyers, there'll be less agents, meaning you could really start to pick up bigger market share. Our goal as our team is we had 6% market share in condos last year in all of Maui. We want to have 10% this year. And we're getting really creative on how we do it. And the goal is to be, you know, at 20% within 3 years. It's a very lofty goal. I definitely understand that. But we have We all have a clear-cut motive. We really want to hit that. And we're also going to be growing our team during this downtime. I think it's a great opportunity to bring other agents in who have that drive, but maybe don't have leads and are willing to do what it takes to really be successful. And that's what we're looking for. And I think everyone's going to be looking for, different things, but I do suggest getting a partner. So what do you got to do to get going? 1, shift your mindset about lead generation. Number one, got to change. Mindset needs to be changed. That's the number one thing. 2, study your market and your industry every day. Another important thing to have to do. Practice what you say every day. Lead generate 3 hours each day. Use direct response prospecting as the quickest path to business. Don't spend too much time on unmotivated people, buyers or sellers. Find and help the motivated and put less motivated leads on the back burner. Throw them in a drip system. If you guys have command, use it. You're paying for it in your monthly dues. Use it. It's awesome too. Use if you don't have your own CRM that you're super comfortable with, please take advantage of command. Use assertive language. Use assertive language. Get to the point. Get back to your database. We all know it's been an awesome 2 to 3 years. It was super easy. It was like monkeys picking up phones and selling properties. That easy. Time to get back to the grind, everybody. It's time to hit that database, really start building on it, refine it, communicate with it. It's going to be important. And the number one thing, ask for business. That's it. If you do not ask, you do not receive. Remember that. And what's the worst they can say? No. Pretty sure you're at the exact same place. Things to think about. No is just a word. No gets you to yes quicker. So you can't worry about, we've had people scream at us. We've had people swear at us. You got to get a thick skin in this game if you really want to be successful. And it's not always going to be easy. But you have all the steps to make it work. And it's just a word. That's all it is. And it's one step closer to something cool. And reward yourself. I know it's a little hard right now because of the times we're in, but reward yourself when you do, you make a goal and reward yourself. And then it could be a weekly goal. It could be a monthly goal, but reward yourself. Have that awesome thing to look forward to that's going to come back to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this class. It looks like, oh my gosh, I'm ending close to darn on time. So, ahas. Tell me some ahas, you guys, that class has provided to you. Please unmute yourself to do it too. Or you can do it in chat.
Thank you so much, Todd. I just find it so refreshing and informative and just reinforcing everything that I believe to my core with KW and all the models and systems that they provide to us and for us. And thanks. I found it very, very motivating and inspiring. And I hope everyone else did too. And I'm here to support however I can.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other ahas?
Todd, I loved what you said about reading books, about practicing scripts, about how you would lock yourself in the room and just repeat it over and over again. That was most impressive. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, all that goes to Bob Sella. As funny as it is, that was one of he really helped teach me a lot. We know that Bob's crazy as a loon burn, but he's so much, he makes things a lot of fun the way he teaches. And I have to say, taking that, then being able to use the behavior style that I learned from Keller Williams, it was such an amazing thing to put together Like I had all these things I was doing, but I really never knew how to concentrate and do it the best possible way. And then I was really fortunate coming to Keller. It taught me a lot more to it.
Awesome. Good job.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a reminder, the affirmations are great. Those are nice.
And 100%. You need to build yourself up. You have to truly believe that you're worthy of getting that business, and that you deserve that business. And once you've convinced yourself of that, you will get that business, and you will do what it takes to get that business. More importantly, I think it's really just changing that mindset. Like, why can't I be number one? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? You just have to be 100% committed and devoted that that's going to happen. And I promise you, your mind is amazing. It'll figure out how to do it. It really will.
Todd, my aha was, ever since this started, I kind of ignored the market stats, more interested in what's happening in the coronavirus and what our rules are and everything. And I think getting back to really studying those stats and having them on the top of my tongue.
Awesome. Got to have it, because you got to be able to intelligently speak with anybody who asks that question. And you don't have to know it all, but you have to be able to speak intelligently. Anyone else? Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. It's my first teaching on Zoom, so it was kind of fun. It was.
Great job.
I was very nervous. Not gonna.
Nah, you were awesome.
Thanks, Karen. Much appreciated. Any other ahas? Okay, so we're gonna end this, and if anyone has questions, feel free to stay. I got about 15 minutes before I got to go meet my team for a meeting for our 3 o'clock meeting every day. But if anyone has any questions, you can ask me anything you want, from how we do something as a team down to how I'm looking at something personally. I'm happy to help.
Thanks, Todd.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Todd.
You are so welcome, Cheryl. Thanks for getting everything together for me.
You're welcome.
No way I would have got it together correct.
Right on. You got it.
Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome. How do you get your numbers for expired? Daniel, you're not on Maui, correct?
Oh.
Daniel?
Does he mean phone numbers?
I think, Daniel, you come off of mute for a second.
No, Todd, I'm not.
There you go. Tell me what's your question. Tell me exactly what your question is.
I was just trying to figure out where are you getting your phone numbers for expireds?
What island are you on?
On Oahu.
Excellent. Give me a call. Give me a text afterwards. Happy to help.
You got it.
And I'm not telling you guys I'm not helping you. I'm just saying, I'm happy to give you lots and lots of key information. Certain tricks, I need you to go out and do your own research. I have zero problem competing with you. I think there's tons of business, but I don't want to give you the entire playbook. Got to make you earn it a little bit.
Understood.
Always coming from contribution and value is absolutely the smartest thing you could do. This is what we talk about on our team. Let's give them some kind of worth. And that's how we just start pretty much all of our conversations with as well. Anything else, anyone?
Nope.
Awesome, guys. Enjoy, everybody. Hope to, I'll probably be on the next one as well, listening in. So good to see everyone. Good talking to you. And if anyone's bored and they want to just call and text and say hi, give me a text.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. And if anybody cares what I'm watching on TV, just finished Hunters. Awesome show. Watch the Tiger King.
What is that about, Hunters?
What's that?
What is Hunters about?
It's based on, in the 70s, a group of people that were hunting down past Nazis that were
Okay.
in America. And it is, in case anybody likes history, it's actually based on, there's basis that is very true. And there's a lot of books on it. It's quite disturbing American history, but it's definitely worth a watch. I will tell you that much. It's quite interesting. Tiger King is really, really weird.
Yeah, I watched about 5 minutes of it.
Yeah. And now we're watching the Ozarks. So
I watched that. Yeah, pretty good, pretty intense.
yes.
Wait, what's your team structure now? How many people are on your team? What do you have?
So I have a director of ops. I have a listing
Daniel?
manager, director of ops. I have 2 buyer's agents, 1 buyer's agent assistant, an open house manager, or an open house. His basically primary focus is open house. He's kind of our referral king. And one who we're transitioning from a very, very hybrid ISA/OSA, very, very hybrid. We're doing some very specific things for her to make her into this position.
Awesome.
Okay, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.